You say one word, I say amazing. You say one word, I say amazing.
What's up, everybody? Or at least James. Let's see who's in here. Got Brother James from Come Alive Ministries. Welcome, bro. So yeah, today I wanted to talk about the reset people. The reset people and the green man. Alright? To be honest, I was about to go to bed, you know. I was about to go and take a nap until, you know, when you lay down, right? Like, you're sitting up, doing what you do, and then as soon as I'm about to take a nap, I lay down, pick up my phone again, you know. So I pick up my phone and then I get notified, well, not notified, but I go to YouTube and I see that Alpha Talks just launched a new video. A video that he was talking about, and I'm sorry about doing that smacking sound. It's a bad habit. I need to stop. I got a comment in the comment section a couple days ago saying, "Hey man, can you stop smacking? I can't focus." So I apologize. Anyways, so yeah, I was laying down, grabbed my phone, and I went to the YouTube app, and I saw that Alpha Talks finally uploaded his video, the one that he put in the community tab. If you're subscribed to Alpha Talks, you'll know what I'm talking about. So he launched this video today, and it's titled "The Rest of the Dead." And one second. Hey, Lil Tangi, good to have you with us, brother. But so yeah. And as soon as I seen the video, you know, I was like, all right, now I can't go to bed. Now I can't go to sleep. I had to watch it. It's 9 minutes, and he found some interesting stuff thanks to one of his subscribers, and thanks to Alpha Talks putting in the work for this content here. I hope you don't mind. I want to play this for you guys so you guys get the connection that I'm about to make. 1 second. Do you guys remember the video I made? If you have been subscribed to me, but this video I made, the green children, it was titled "The Reset People and the Green Man." Alright? Now if you look into this article, it's an article that I found 2 years ago. And the article is titled "Mysterious People Who Appeared from Nowhere." Alright? And keep in mind, these mysterious people are green children. When you read the article, it's going to talk about green children. Alright? When the children of Suffolk. And it also, well, they didn't talk about the green man. I put the green man in connection with the green children. And the green man just so happened to be something Celtic. So enough blabbering. Tell you what, we're gonna play the videos. First, I'm going to play. Let's play Alpha Talks video first. And then watch what he connects with this video. It's 9 minutes, and I'm pretty sure he'll let me share it with you guys. It's no problem. But I'm going to make a connection with his video and my video, the one I did in 2020. So anyways, without further ado, let's stop my background music and let's play his video.
Reserve some for the foundlings.
As it should always be. The foundlings are the future. This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
The rest of the dead. Where are the rest of the dead? Continuing my topic on the Millennial Kingdom, today we're going to be answering a very interesting question in the scriptures, and that is, if the Millennial Kingdom truly did happen, then where are the rest of the dead? So today we're going to be discussing Revelations 20 verse 5. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. So in the scriptures, during Armageddon, those who believed in Christ were resurrected during the Millennial Kingdom and got to live and reign with Christ for 1,000 years. However, everybody else did not live again until the 1,000 years were finished. And during this 1,000-year Millennial Kingdom, Satan is locked up in prison the entire time until the 1,000 years are finished. Then he is loosed out of his prison for his little season, and during this little season, the rest of the dead resurrect, meaning everyone else who did not believe in Christ during Armageddon gets resurrected during this time period. Now, I believe clues for where the rest of the dead are can be found in the phenomena of the orphans during the 1800s. So during the late 1700s and throughout the 1800s, there was a worldwide orphan phenomena. There were millions of orphans worldwide, practically in every country. In fact, what's very interesting is most people, if not all people, can't really trace their family tree past the 1800s. Now, there's all kinds of mainstream historical explanations for where these orphans came from. A common one is that the parents died from the disease and the kids were left, and that's pretty much one of the big reasons there were so many orphans during this time.
Now, I wanted to respond to what he said when he said, and I agree, when he said that it's hard for people to trace back their family tree beyond 1800s. This is where ancestry comes in. And I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I know the Mormon church does it. And I don't know how they're able to do that. I mean, to tell you the truth, they can figure out which tribe you come from. Like, for example, they said that I come from the tribe of Ephraim. I don't know how they figured that out, but I don't know, guys. But that's I wanted to just say that. And I'm laughing, right? I'm laughing, but it could very well be true. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Time period. In fact, this was such a widespread phenomena that there was a lot of literature during this time on orphans, such as the book Pinocchio and Oliver Twist. But as strange as this is going to sound, I believe the phenomena of orphans worldwide can be explained by two things. The first one is the Cabbage Patch Kids mythology, and the second answer is found in the apocryphal book of Jasher. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the Cabbage Patch Kids mythology. And for those of you who don't know what the Cabbage Patch Kids mythology fable is, I'm going to give you a brief summary. When people think of Cabbage Patch babies, they think of the popular toys from the 1980s with their chubby cheeks and official adoption certificates. But these toys are a much later incarnation of another 19th century baby-making fable. Sister Pansy, Queenie, and Clary Nixon of Sedgwick Grange were avid collectors of postcards. They collected a series published in around 1906 and produced by an uncredited artist from the French school style. They explicitly show the process of how babies were made in Cabbage Patch mythology. In the series, a gardener tends to his crops, watering them and ensuring they are getting all they need to grow healthy and strong. A number of well-dressed Edwardian couples browse amongst row upon row of babies. Once they have made up their mind, the gardener picks one fresh Cabbage Patch baby to take home. Like the stork, the gardener is seen making deliveries to the doors of deserving families. So that's where we get the Cabbage Patch mythologies, and no, it doesn't come from the Cabbage Patch baby dolls from the 1980s, it goes back even further to the 1800s. Like back in the day when kids would ask the birds and the bees question, the parents would basically tell them that babies come from the Cabbage Patch. And explaining where babies come from sometimes causes slight discomfort for some parents. Before children are old enough to understand the intricacies of the birds and the bees, many people choose to gloss over the story. Some parents plant a seed and wait for it to grow, which is technically true, and others require a bit more imagination. Now we're going to talk about an interesting account found in the apocryphal book of Jasher. Now, why am I using the apocryphal book of Jasher as evidence? Number one, the book of Jasher was found with the Dead Sea Scrolls along with the rest of Scripture. This apocryphal book is also referenced in Scripture in 2 verses. The first verse is found in 2 Samuel 1:18. Also he had bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. Joshua 10:13. And the sun stood still and the moon stayed until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day. So I do view the book of Jasher as an inspired book. The reason I view it as inspired is because the scriptures view it as inspired, even though it's not in our modern canon. Now the reason I wanted to bring up a few verses from the book of Jasher is thanks to a subscriber. So a few weeks ago I made a post on YouTube talking about how I'm working on the Rest of the Dead video, which is the one I'm working on now. And one subscriber comments something very interesting, and he says this: "Bro, this is gonna blow your mind. I think there's a significant connection with the second resurrection, the Cabbage Patch babies, the stork babies, and the following verse. I do believe that those little ones were the babies that didn't have the opportunity to be born. Maybe sacrificed babies and aborted babies. Please read Jasher, or the book of Jasher. Chapter 67 verses 53 to 61. Our Father allowed babies to grow in the fields. They were taken care of by angels until they were delivered to their new families. If that happened in Moses' time, I think that could have happened in a future event." So let's go to the book of Jasher, verse 53 through 61. So this verse is during the time where Egyptians were basically massacring every male child born to the Hebrews. Because in ancient Egyptian beliefs, the firstborn sons were the backbone of a society, and the ancient Egyptians believed if you can get rid of the firstborn sons in a nation, you can destroy that nation. So anyway, let's read it. Verse 51, "And the king ordered a proclamation to be issued and a law to be made through the land of Egypt, saying, Every male child born to the Hebrews from this day forward shall be thrown into the water. And Pharaoh called unto all his servants, saying, Go now, and seek through the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel are, and see that every son born to the Hebrews shall be cast into the river, but every daughter you shall let live. And when the children of Israel heard this thing which Pharaoh had commanded, to cast their male children into the river, some of the people separated from their wives, and others adhered to them. And from that day forward, when the time of delivery arrived to those women of Israel, who had remained with their husbands, they went to the field to bring forth there, and they brought forth in the field, and left their children upon the field, and returned home. And the Lord, who had sworn to their ancestors to multiply them, sent one of his ministering angels which are in heaven, to wash each child in water, to anoint and swathe it, and to put into its hands 2 smooth stones, from one of which it sucked milk, and from the other honey. And he caused its hair to grow to its knees, by which it might cover thyself, to comfort it, and to cleave to it, through his compassion for it. And when God had compassion over them, and had desired to multiply them upon the face of the land, he ordered the earth to receive them, to be preserved therein, till the time of their growing up. After which the earth opened its mouth, and vomited them forth, and they sprouted forth from the city, like the herb of the earth, and the grass of the forest. And they returned each of his family into his father's house, and they remained with them. And the babies of the children of Israel were upon the earth like herb of the field, through God's grace to them. And when all the Egyptians saw this thing, they went forth to this field with his yoke and oxen, and his plowshare, and they plowed it up as one plows the earth at seed time. And when they plowed, they were unable to hurt the infant of the children of Israel, so the people increased and waxed exceedingly. And Pharaoh ordered his officers daily to go to Goshen to seek for the babies of the children of Israel. And when they had sought and found one, they took it from its mother's bosom by force, and threw it into the river, but the female child they left with its mother. Thus did the Egyptians do to the Israelites all the days. So again, wow, very interesting and powerful verse. So if this happened in our distant past during Moses' time, where God allowed babies to be preserved in a field and then grown and sprouting out of the earth like a cabbage patch. Is it possible that this kind of event could have happened again? Possibly during the 1800s, and it's why we have the Cabbage Patch Kids mythology. I believe it's very possible, and the final verse I want to look at today is found in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that hath been done, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. History comes back full circle, as the scripture says. What has been done will be done again. I hope you guys found this intriguing. I found this
Alright guys, so how true is the book of Jasher? To tell you the truth, I don't know. But I do know that the Dead Sea Scrolls must be discerned. Okay, you need to discern when reading the book of Jasher. And I'm not saying that, it's not true. Because I believe that there's truths in most of the books, when it comes to the canon, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and even the Book of Mormon, believe it or not. But with that being said, let's go to my video that I did 2 years ago. And if you're someone who watched it already, well, I'm playing it for the people who don't know, okay? So that I can make a clear connection right now. And this is part 1 of the Reset People and the Green Man. Inexplicably, today I want to talk about the Reset People, aka the orphans. One of the earliest, most well-known, and indeed bizarre cases of people appearing out of nowhere occurred in the mid-12th century, when 2 children mysteriously appeared in the sleepy village of Woolpit in the English county of Suffolk, and went on to become an enduring mystery known as the Green Children of Woolpit. Allegedly one day, 2 young children, a boy and a girl, suddenly and inexplicably emerged from a deep pit used for trapping the wolves that terrorized the region in those days. If this wasn't already odd enough, it immediately became apparent that these were no ordinary children, as they both reportedly had skin that was tinted green and were dressed in strange, unfamiliar clothing made from an unusual fabric that no one recognized. The children seemed to be more or less healthy, but somewhat dazed and confused. And when villagers tried to speak to them, they spoke strange, unintelligible language that no one had ever heard before. Not knowing what to do with these enigmatic children, the locals presented them to a wealthy landowner by the name of Sir Richard de Caulnay, who took them into his care. Things would only get stranger from there. When she was able to somewhat express herself in English, the girl began to try and explain where they had come from. She claimed that the boy had been her brother, and that they had come from a faraway land located deep underground, where the sun never shone, where it was always dark, and where all the people had green skin. A fantastical place she called St. Martin. When asked how they had arrived at Woolpit, the girl told the mesmerized villagers that she had been out herding cattle with her brother and had found animals following them into a large cavern. As they plunged deeper into the cavern, the girl claimed that they had heard a strange sound like bells, which they followed into the uncharted blackness, becoming more and more disoriented until there was a sudden bright shaft of light that had pierced through the gloom and hurt their eyes. When the children had followed the light, They exited the cavern, only instead of their homeland before their eyes, it had been the bottom of the wolf trap pit they had been found in. It was a bizarre tale, to be sure, and nobody was quite sure what to make of it. Although there was all manner of speculation, the girl would subsequently go on to live a relatively normal life in the village, adjusting comfortably to her new home, integrating into society well, and even being baptized, and eventually getting married. The story of the Green Children of Woolpit went on to become a popular tale of curiosity and is still much discussed to this day. It is difficult to know what to make of this story, and hard to ascertain just how many elements actually took place, and which are mere myths, exaggerations, folktale, fancy, and fairy tale. There have been a wide range of theories proposed for the Green Children's origins, ranging from the somewhat plausible to the more far-fetched. The enigmatic children have been alternately theorized as being from a parallel dimension, aliens, inhabitants of some hidden subterranean civilization, feral children raised by animals, orphans with arsenic poisoning or malnutrition, which made their skin green, or Flemish immigrant refugees fleeing persecution and a battle that had killed their parents. In the end, no one really knows who they are, where they came from, or indeed, how much of the story is even based in reality. Alright, you heard when I say no one really knows who they are? Well, when I made this video, I didn't know who they were, but that was 2 years ago. I'm just gonna say it, guys. The clear connection is so obvious. They're called Green Children, okay? If you read this article, the mysterious people who appeared from nowhere, just to let you know, this article is labeled fiction, okay? And like I always say, you need to discern, okay? You can't just take everything, for what it is. You need to discern what it's really trying to say, okay? And in this article, it's labeled fiction. It talks about these green children. It doesn't talk about the green man. I brought that on myself. I put that connection with the green children because it was a Celtic, it had something to do with the Celtic designs and the green man's face on the Celtic buildings. But that's the clear and obvious connection, guys, is the fact that 2 years ago when I made this video, it's the Green Children, okay? This article, we know it as the Green Children. And when I first did that article, or when I first did that video, I realized, or I found out that from some of the comments, they were saying the reason why their skin was green was because the pigmentation in their skin had no sunlight. So they weren't in the sunlight since they were born. And some say that these children were born in the ground. And at that time, 2 years ago, believe it or not, your mind thinks of as much as it can possibly, right? So I was thinking of Sheol. And it's hard to say that Sheol is a spiritual place because, I just don't know. I don't know if Sheol is a spiritual place because the way it speaks about Sheol is in a literal sense, right? It literally says beneath the depths of the earth, right? So, yeah. So the Green Children, why did they call them the Green Children? Cabbage, guys. Cabbage is green, okay? The Celtic green man, he's green, all right? Why? If you do more research on this stuff, it even goes as far as this green man somehow being able to have these children be born through the Cabbage Patch. Now, let me say this. It says nothing about it in the scripture. But like I said, how accurate, how true is the Dead Sea Scrolls? I don't know. I can't say, guys. I don't know everything, man. But I will say this. It's out there. The Book of Jasher is out there. Or should I say Yasher? It's out there, guys. And that's information that should not be ignored. You can't look at things and say, just because one thing is wrong, you can't dismiss the whole thing. You can't. You need to critically look at these things, guys. You can't, oh yeah, you know what? The Dead Sea Scrolls is off limits. I heard it was Satan's, book, and NASA supports it and all that stuff. Just because that's the case, you can't do away with the whole thing. Because what if they're doing that to steer the truthers? Because they know a lot of truthers are flat earthers, right? So reverse psychology, psychologically they're going to be like, oh, you know what, let's support the Dead Sea Scrolls, and once we do that, the flat earthers aren't going to look into that book anymore. They got enough truth. Okay, they got enough. Let's just give them that. But let's support the book of, let's support the book of Enoch, Jasher, and all that stuff, the Dead Sea Scrolls. Like I said, psychologically, guys, it's going to make you not want to read it anymore. When there's valuable information. Like I said, guys, you guys got to be very careful about shunning things. You can't do that. You just have to, man, it's I don't want to say it's more complicated than it looks, but in reality it is. You have to take some time to do the research. You have to take some time to cherry pick. And I know that doesn't sound good, but that's the truth, guys. You have to cherry pick, man. Because what you find and discern what to be true, take it. And if it doesn't align with your next research, then withhold it. Put it aside. Put it on the back burner. But yeah, so that's the connection. That's one of the connections right there, is the green man. And the green children having to do with the green cabbage, with Cabbage Patch Kids. So now I know why they called them the green children. There was no explanation in this article. The mysterious people who appeared from nowhere. There was no explanation, guys, as to why they were green. It wasn't clear. But let's go to the comments real quick. By the way, massive shout out to Mark Urizo, man. Brother, you're a lifesaver, man. He just made a recent donation, so just want to thank you for that, brother. Mark Urizo. Shout out to you, brother. Welcome, Deb Woods. Well, have a good meal, James. Have fun with the family. Does anyone know anything about their great-grandparents? Right. I wish I spoke with my grandma a lot more, to be honest, but she passed away. Nothing at all about great-grandparents. Yeah, I really know nothing about. That's crazy, right? None of us know much. None of us know much about it. Most do not. I find that interesting. I've been thinking of keeping a journal. That's good, brother. I think I'm going to do the same. But just like it is said, that people cannot... It's hard for people to trace their family tree beyond the 1800s. And I could see why. It's not a coincidence, guys. But you got the Mormon church claiming that they have, the tools to trace your lineage as far back as the 12 tribes. So if any of you know anything about that, man, I would love to hear about that. NASA's promoting the day. You're right. Yes, I just mentioned that. Like I said, guys, I don't support the whole thing. I don't support the whole book as a whole, because I'm still, suspicious about some things in that book too. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna toss it. I wonder what that's all about. Yeah, I think I said enough about that, because, like I said, psychologically, you gotta think both ways, and you can't trust anything coming from NASA. And I find it a little suspicious. Yeah, I understand, bro. I understand, but maybe what you're saying is exactly what they're doing. They're steering truthers from the truth. You guys, you got to remember, man, Satan is very sly. He is a serpent, man, and a serpent is known to be very, very wise, guys. The only other person that I know that was wise is King Solomon. Other than that, you got Satan. Welcome, Armored Raven. Good, how are you? Welcome, Lorraine Donaldson. My aunt was a genealogist for the Mormon Church. Ooh, there you go. I just said that. If you know more about that, Lorraine, I would love to know. That would be awesome if you could put that in the chat or comment section, Discord, email, whatever. Just arrived at the restaurant, so I'm going to have to catch the replay, guys. It was good being here with you all for the time being. God bless everyone. Likewise, brother. Enjoy your meal. God bless you, brother. Have fun, James, and happy birthday to Miss. Yeah, tell him I said happy birthday too. See, I don't even celebrate birthdays, guys. So, but it's second nature to me now, So it's the way it works. Hello, welcome, Nate. Good to have you with us. Big Slapper says, I think that's how they discredited so much truth. They write obvious lies and scatter truths all through the book, so they will be cast out with the lies. Right. By the way, welcome, Big Slapper. Like the Gospel of Judas, I think there's major truths in that. Yes, me too. Like I always say, you can't toss the books out. You can't. You have to critically look at them. You got to read them and discern and pray. And Cain said unto the Lord, welcome, Thomas, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. Cain said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and for thy face shall I be hid. I have a family tree that shows my significant Native American family line, but that's about it. Awesome. Yeah, I have a family tree too that doesn't go nowhere near as far as the 1800s, but what's up, Perusia? What major truth are you talking about, Slapper? I said, I think the is, and I think may be that part of Judas might be where we get the Frankenstein story. Interesting. Thomas says, a fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Could be the line of Cain inside the earth. You talking about Sheol? That came to my mind too, Hooper. Say that again. Let's say, the fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. Could be the line of Cain inside the earth. But what about the fall? Does that say for the fallen angels too? What do you guys think the fallen angels are? I mean, I know there were angels by the rivers of Euphrates. They were locked up. But yeah, guys, if you guys read this article, which you know what, I will share this article right now with you guys so you guys can take some time to read it yourselves and dissect it. So that is the link to this article, guys. Mine too. Yes, y'all. Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Please give Tala a like. He works hard. Appreciate that, loyal. But yeah, before we go any further, let's play the rest of the video. And then we'll talk about the Green Man.
And so the story of the Green Children of Woolpit has become an enduring mystery that will perhaps never be solved. This article I just read can be found in the description box below. The Green Man, a human-like creature adorned with leaves, vines, and flowers, appears in depictions dating back to before the Roman Empire. Although his image appears in many cultures, he's commonly associated with Celtic society. Using his image conveys major growth and rebirth, with the children being green and coming from a strange world of perpetual twilight. It's not a big leap to assume they are fairies or other magical creatures. Their arrival acceptance into the town and baptism may represent the transition of people moving from old beliefs and transitions into a Christian life. Surprisingly, the beans are also very important. The Roman tradition of giving beans or peas to the spirits of the dead was adopted by Britons and was widely practiced in medieval English. The story of children only eating beans associated with death, and upon being given bread props, meaning the Eucharist, their health and color is restored, and playing that being baptized and accepted into this Christian village brought them back from an eternity of damnation. Remember, a priest first wrote the story, and then another priest wrote it again. So how can I discern and prove that this story is in fact true? The answer is, I can't. But I can take what does make sense and adds up with my other researches and discoveries. However, I do know that it does coincide with the same time frame as the Tartarian kingdom, and that alone is enough for me to continue researching this topic. You know, the beauty of nature is that after all life has perished, nature continues to prevail. And when looking at these amazing discoveries, the buildings that are still standing after the reset people, and etc., it just tells me that life is nothing but a glimpse, and all I can do is glimpse back.
So yeah, the Green Man, guys. Who's a Green Man? Let's go. So, the Green Man can be found on many cathedrals, medieval buildings, but there is definitely something significant about this green man. Let's go here. See, this one is the secrets of the green man. It says here, if you've read my novel, Beltane, then you'll know the green man is a key character in the book. If you've not read it, then I'm afraid I can't really say much more than that without a spoiler alert. But if you've seen the book cover, you can probably guess that a green man features in it somewhere. There are many different depictions of the green man, but the common feature is that the face is surrounded by foliage or has foliage coming out of his mouth and nose, or like my lovely book cover. So the book cover she's talking about is, I believe it's this one on the left. His hair is made from leaves and his skin from bark. The term green man wasn't used until 1939 when Lady Raglan coined it in an article about the green man in church architecture. You see what I mean, guys? Church architecture. And this is talking about the Celtic type buildings, medieval type buildings, if you will. But it says here, which was published in the Folklore Journal. Before that, they were known as foliate heads, which are surprisingly ancient. There are Roman examples of foliate heads and similar carvings from the Mesopotamian, now Iraq. Surprisingly, as he's arguably associated with fertility and nature, he's found, look at that, it says right here, he's associated with fertility and nature. You see that, guys? So, like I said, they call this folklore, you know? They say it's folklore, you know, they say it's a fairy tale or whatever, just a fictional story. But I beg to differ. I beg to differ, guys. I mean, if it has to do with exactly what it says, fertility and nature, then come on, man. Cabbage Patch Kids, ring a bell? Connection? Anyone? Anyways, let's continue to read that. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you guys can read it yourselves too. Hopefully that's big enough. Where were we? Okay, right here. Surprisingly, as he's arguably associated with fertility and nature, he's found in many medieval churches carved in wood or stone. Yes, like I just showed you guys, there's a whole bunch of green man depictions in Celtic design. Let's get a little bit more detailed here. See, like this. There's so many, guys. All right. And one can say that this was a literal physical entity. Perhaps the serpent. I don't know, guys. You know, am I going too far with this by calling it the possible serpent? I mean, could it be that the green man is indeed the one that tempted Eve? You know? Just saying, guys. Just saying. Let's go back to this. So it says the green... Oh, no, let's go up here. It said... He's found in many medieval churches carved in wood So wood too, guys, or stone. He enjoyed a revival in the 19th century when he was a favorite of the Gothic revivalist and arts and crafts movement. Since then, he's been inspiration to many artists. Had a festival named after him, titled a lot of albums, and given his name to a Morris side. The Green Man can get confused with Jack in the Green. Something with that name Jack. What is with this name Jack, guys? What is with that name Jack? Jack Sparrow. You got Jack Sparrow, you got Jack Frost, you've got Jack in the Beanstalk, you got Jack, what was it from Titanic? I'll never let go. I'll never let go, Jack. What's with this Jack, man? Maybe I should do a video on the name Jack, right? Anyway, let's continue. The trickster character. Okay, hold on. Let's go back. The Green Man can get confused with Jack in the Green. Let's look up this Jack in the Green real quick. Jack in the Green, huh? Why do I get the feeling that this is the same guy? You know what else this reminds me of, guys? You guys remember this guy? You guys remember this dude? The Green Giant? He's associated with fertility and nature, right? You get Green Giant niblets. That's hilarious, guys. A lot of connections here, guys. And another thing is corn. Believe it or not, there's some stories behind corn. All right. Well, that's for another story or another video. So it says the trickster. Notice how it calls him the trickster. Who's the trickster, guys? Who is known as the trickster? Satan, the serpent, right? So is it too much to say that the Green Man is Satan? You know, if you read the story on the Green Children and the Green Man, it's not going to seem too far-fetched, guys, because these green children came from the ground. And I'm not saying they came from Sheol, but, you know, like we all know, Satan is the god of this world, guys. Right? Satan is the god of this world. And that being said, what capabilities does he have? Does it say that his only power is to deceive and to tempt? That's what I meant. Does it say that his only power is to tempt? I know he's called the tempter, but he's also the deceiver, guys. How do you begin to deceive someone? Think about that. You gotta think about that, guys. The deceiver. This is why I like how Loyal Tanji, one of his favorite verses is do not be deceived. So yes, do not be deceived, guys. By the way, 1 second, guys. Go ahead and read this. I'll be right back in like 1 minute. Sorry about that, guys. I might have to wrap this up soon because I can't promise that my daughter's going to go back to bed. But anyways, we'll try and continue to read this. It says, the Green George, who is the leaf-covered young man in Murmur's plays, John Barleycorn, speaking of corn, the character in the folk song which personifies the life cycle of barley, and Robin Hood. That's another story. But he predates all of them. Some believe that he evolved from older gods such as the Celtic Kurnos, or the Greek deities. Guys, this is getting better. It says here further on, interestingly, there's no clear understanding of what he represents. Right. That's what they say, right? There's no clear understanding what he represents, which gives us a lot of scope for different theories, right? That's what they love to do. They just love to make it that way. Oh yeah, it's just very broad spectrum of theories that we could just go off of, right? I don't think so, guys. I think with this, it's a lot more simpler than we think when it comes to this specific topic, the Green Man. I have a great feeling that there's a connection between the Green Man and Satan. Just saying, guys. And if I'm the first one to say that, well, you heard it here first. Anyways, let's go to the comments. And once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and close up. Big Slapper says, I sort of think Sockless, Satan's fellas might create a man for a servant for them and couldn't get life of man. And maybe God breathed life into them and set them above. Okay. That conflicts hard with biblical teaching. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints and the beloved city. Right. Big slap. In Judas it says Sockless was the image God always spoke in person to the church. Okay. All roads leads to Rome. Remind me of those faces, people, no trees. Right? Hello, Emma Kumbez. She wrote several books before she passed. My daughter is reading one. I'll see if I can get it from her when she finished. Awesome. Good to be here. Good to have you. Walking, talking trees, Disney movies, I believe. 1 second, guys. I literally had my laptop unplugged. So that's not good. Yes, Jack and Bob. Jack and the Beanstalk, the giant trees and giants. Here in the UK, there are loads of pubs called the Green Man. Wow. Not surprised. Jolly Green Giant also says ho 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 like Santa Claus. Right. Who's a psycho? Calling me a psycho? Uh-oh. Remember the film called The Children of the Corn? Yes. Like I said, guys, do some research on corn and you'll find some stuff, man. Deception. I also think Pinhead and his buddies from Hellraiser are real and live underground in these underground cities. I can see that. It's the theme of the Bible. The whole book is for basically one thing: do not be deceived. And that's a good way to end this stream, guys. But before we end this stream, I want to let you guys know that I just started a new YouTube channel, and it is titled Exploring the Millennial Reign of Christ. I appreciate all 71 subscribers. I just pushed this out this morning, and already we have 71 people. So please go and subscribe if you want to to watch content pertaining solely on the millennial reign of Christ. All right, guys. Am I missing anything? Let's see. Did I read all the comments? Mark 8:24. He saw the people as trees. Grasshoppers. Nice one. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys all being here, man. And we'll do more. There's definitely going to be a part 3 to the Green Man and the Green Children, the Reset Kids, Cabbage Patch Kids, whatever you want to call it. All right. And I also wanted to say that real quick. I know Theron made a video on a couple days ago, and he was talking about the Cabbage Patch Kids and saying that Mine Unveiled, be careful with him. I second that, guys. I second that. Yes, be careful with Mine Unveiled, because he doesn't really preach Christ. Okay, he's more of a attention grabber, you know, than anything else. I mean, but you know, it doesn't take away the fact that he does his research. Okay, because Mine Unveiled got some good stuff. Like I said, you can't toss them out as a whole. Same thing with the books, guys. You can't just toss it out as a whole. You have to take, you know, what's good. You gotta take what's fruitful. All right. So yeah, with that being said, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and notification bell if you want to be notified for more future content. And as always, you guys be safe out there. Be blessed. Until next time.
You say one word, I say amazing. Yeah, yeah.